Let me just load up the interface and talk about where we are and where we're going today. We won't be doing any smart contract development, although I did make a minor change that I'll go over. Um, and so just to, let's see here. So this is a, let's see, sorry, I'm taking a little while to get going here, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at the outline here for today's, what we're doing today. So the interfaces we've been building so far, when you click on these create buttons, they will create the contract and they'll give you the transaction ID, but then you have to go to Etherscan and do a few clicks to actually get the address of the contract that's created. And so that's just a weird extra step that we'd like to eliminate. So that'll be our first major goal today, and it's not as simple as you might think, unfortunately. I've added some events in the factory contract that will help us. It's actually essential that we use those. And then we'll add event watchers in the interface, which watches for those events, and then pulls out the information that we'll need to load the right contract. And so a couple of new things today. I guess the biggest new thing is that we'll be actually watching for events. So that'll be cool to show you guys that. And then after we get through all that, I hope it doesn't take too long. Then we're gonna bring back the BillableWallet tools panel, which, if you recall, when we load a wallet address, there's a bit on the right here that lets you look at a biller info or change the biller info if you're the owner, or click the bill button if you're a biller. So that should amount to really just uncommenting stuff and changing some variable names. So that'll be pretty quick. Then we're going to hide or show different aspects of the interface depending on which type of wallet the user is interacting with. And I guess I'm missing a point here, and that is to implement controls or outputs for the time lock wallet. So if we have one of those loaded, it'll give us, I guess that's really just an output. Because we want to output when the wallet can be unlocked. And then finally, I'm just going to add in a balance output. I mean, these are wallets. It'd be nice if we could see the balance without having to go and inspect it in Etherscan. So that is what we're going to go over today. This tracking of the create transactions, it's not as simple as I'd hoped. And with Toasty Coin, when you click on create, I'll just see if I can just do this really quick. I'm on testnet, of course, so this doesn't really matter. And I can click create. Whoops. I'm going to specify. Yep, I know. Oh, error. My goodness. That's no good. Well, I don't even know what's going on there. I guess never mind there. But if this was working here, and I don't know what's going on with it, but it would pop up with a transaction here, just like we do with our interface. Our interface shows a transaction as well. But when it gets mined, the link is sort of transformed, and it says, "Okay, BB created," and then you click on it, and it'll bring you to the actual burnable payment. Unfortunately, that code actually relies on Etherscan. It watches the Etherscan website to facilitate that. So that means this interface is dependent on Etherscan, and if Etherscan goes down, then this interface no longer works. So we could do that again, and it, it's functional, and that's why I put it in here. It's because I didn't want to deal with anything more complicated, but it's not very decentralized, and there is another way to do it that is decentralized, and it's I got to say I feel like it should be simpler, but we're sort of stuck with Web3 because we're stuck with MetaMask. MetaMask is the single most used wallet that people use for dApps. And MetaMask, not only does it use Web3, it uses an older version of Web3, not the current version. And there is a whole, I've complained about this before. There is this whole issue of adding Web3 1.0 support to MetaMask, and I guess there's a beta out that you can try now, and we might even give that a shot after our week break here coming up. But we're not going to worry about that right now. And in any case, you have to go and do some manual installing, and I think you even have to build it. So certainly not a solution that is ready for users yet. So I'm not going to worry about trying to develop on it. So what there are these things called transaction receipts. If I go back to Web3.js transaction receipt. And again, we can't look at the Web3 1.0. We have to look at this older version because that's what MetaMask uses. And if we look at the transaction receipts right here, this is something that you can use if you have a transaction ID, which is what we get. It's what pops up down here. Then we can get a transaction receipt, and that will tell us some information if it's been mined. It'll give us a null if it has not been mined, and it will give us an object if it has been mined. So already that's sort of useful. Unfortunately, when it gives us these logs, this will not be decoded. It will give us something like, let's see, where did I get that? Somewhere in here. Let me just go to my history here. So this is a new factory contract I deployed, and I actually will have to go and change all the contract info, so I don't want to forget about that. This is the new factory contract I deployed, and this is a transaction where I created a wallet. So let's go look at that transaction. We can see it created a log, which I guess I'm a little scatterbrained here. I should just really quick, and I'll go into this more, but I've added some events here to the wallet factory. And when I create a new basic wallet, it emits a wallet. It emits an event right there. And so when we look at this this transaction here, we can see that there's one event log, but this is all we can get. And this is all Etherscan shows us because it doesn't have the API, the ABI, I should say. And it also is all that we will get if we try to use the transaction receipt. Oh, this is the wrong, oops, I'm looking at the wrong page here. If we use the transaction receipt to get the logs, we will get something like this. And it's just a big value that, you know, if you don't know anything and you're looking at this page, this could be a string, it could be a U integer, it could be an address. I know that it's an address because I know that our event emits an address. And that's in this event definition, and it's in right here too. And so actually, if you look at this, you can see if you just take this bit here after the zeros, and you put a 0x in front of it, you actually get the contract address. And there's our newly created contract. But that we could use JavaScript to sort of do that, take the zeros off, but it just strikes me as really kind of unreliable. I mean, I'm pretty uncomfortable doing that in the code. So there's another way that we can do this, and that is by watching for these events through the wallet factory instance in our code. So let's go look and let's see. This is the Solidity. Man, I'm all sort of scattered. Sorry about this, guys. Let's see. So I guess before getting into, well, just to finish my point there, this wallet factory instance, we can not only call functions from it, like new wallet, but we can also look at events in the same exact way. We'll do window.wallet factory instance dot basic wallet created, and then we can create a event watcher, and then when that event watcher returns and calls our callback, we will get a decoded output. So in short, what we're going to do is we're going to our interface here will we'll still track the transactions, and we'll have a list of these transaction IDs or transaction hashes. And then when we, let me close this because we're not using that. When we watch for a new event, we will get, let me just open up another Web3 API. Here we go. Wait, nope, that's the new one. Here we go. This is the one we want. And I recommend bookmarking these. I guess I should bookmark this one right now. So what we're going to be doing is my contract.event. Nope, I can't find it that way. Okay, let me go search events, contract events. So we do it like this. We'll be watching for the event. We'll get this callback. Our callback will get this object, and the object will have our arguments, which will contain our address. It'll have the name of the event, which we'll use to determine which type of the contract is created. And then it'll also have the transaction hash, and that is what we'll use because we'll have a list of all the transaction hashes that the users created. So when we get this callback, we'll look at the transaction hash, and we'll match it up with what we have, and that's how we will sort of know that that is the one that the user clicked on and created, and then we'll get from that the finally get the address. So it's a little convoluted, unfortunately, but we're going to go ahead and do that, and I think it'll make a little bit more sense as we go. I just sort of want to make the point that we're hobbled in a large part because we're using Web3, and we're using an older version of Web3, and hopefully that will change in the future. I mean, eventually we move on from Web3 completely, and that'll be great. But we're not there yet, and we gotta work with what we can if we want to build applications that other people can actually use. So anyway, okay, so let's get started here. So let me get back to my outline. The first thing I want to do is go over the added events in the factory contract. It's pretty basic here. Another thing I did is I changed the name of our wallet to Basic Wallet. So just because I think that makes it a little clearer. We might in our interface might run into some issues if I forgot to change all the variable names, but we'll move through that. I'm also going to add in another item here so I don't forget, and that is to change the contract info.js stuff. So we'll do that in just a second. But yeah, so I just have these 3 new events, pretty easy, and then I just emit them in the factory contract right here. So that's all fine. I've already deployed a wallet factory on Ropsten. And let me just go and find that again on my MetaMask. Here it is, contract deployment. So this is the factory, the new factory contract. So I'm going to take this address, and I'm just going to go and change your contract info. I could have done this probably before the stream. And then we want to also change some of the ABIs here. We really only need to change one. It's the Wallet Factory ABI, because I didn't touch the code of any of these other contracts. So I'm just going to take this and erase it, and then go and grab from our remix again. I'm going to go to the Factory Details ABI. Okay. Paste and a semicolon. Alright, so save that. Okay, so I guess I can go ahead and cross these 2 things off here. Okay, so now we want to add some event watchers in the interface. So let's get back to our code here, our index code. So where do we want to put these event watchers? going to do it right at the end of our window on load function. So we're going to add these event watchers, and they'll just be running in the background. And I'll have to define the callbacks as well. But first, let's just put in the code that sort of watches for the events. And it's again, it's called in almost exactly the same way as you call one of the functions from the contract. So we'll go window.wallet factory instance, which we've just created right in the line before. Then we want to get the name of an event. So let's go back to our remix. So basic wallet created. And then I think we just, let's see here. So we can add in some more filter stuff if we want to get events that match certain criteria. We could use that now. I'm not going to, but one thing we could decide to do is we could decide to filter it if this event, let's say this event had something like address creator, like that, which it doesn't, but if it did, we could filter by that. So we could filter to only get the wallets that were created by our user. In fact, that would almost be a good way to do it. I'm hesitant to change the plan at this point. So let's get back to our code here. So anyway, we don't have any extra filters we want to put in. Let's see. I want to pass a callback. So we have two things we can pass here. Index return values we want to filter. We don't want to do that. Additional filter options. I think we can just omit that. We could probably just omit both of them actually. I'll try that first, and I'll put in some empty ones if that doesn't work. But what we want to get to is our callback. And that takes error and result. And put a semicolon there. I'm just going to copy this 3 times. And change the wording here. What's the name of our first one? Billable. Okay, and so now we just want to, so our result, again, what is that going to look like? That's going to be this thing right here. So we're going to have args, event, and we're going to have transaction hash. We're going to have all this other stuff too, but those are the 3 we're going to use. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the transaction hash and compare it and look and see if it's in the list of our app's list of transactions. And if it is, then that tells us that our user created it. Because you got to remember that we're using this front end here to create these wallets, but there could be 100 users on this, 1,000 users or whatever. They'll all be making their own wallets, and we don't want this interface to automatically load just any wallet that was created. You know, I could be sitting here, somebody else could create a wallet, and suddenly I'm looking at their wallet. It's not a security concern. It's not like I can control their wallet, because again, we're only working on the interface. But obviously, it's a really confusing thing for the user. The user wouldn't want somebody else's wallet to be automatically loaded. Obviously, they could mistake that for theirs and deposit to it. So the way that we're going to make sure that it is ours is that, whoops, that's not where I want to go, is that where did my, there we go. I'm gonna compare this transaction hash, which we can get by saying result transaction hash, to I want to see if it's in our list of transactions, which is in our app. So window.app.transact. So these are the 2 things we're going to compare, and I just need to now go look. I need to see what is the JavaScript way of seeing if something is in an array. It's probably really, well, the only way. Current browsers have array includes. Okay, what is that? Yeah, fuck Internet Explorer. Oh, it's just array dot includes, I guess. Let's just try that. So this will give us a Boolean, I think. Let's just log it, I guess. I guess I want to. I'm putting the log in here just to see if it returns what we think it will. Yeah, I do want to do that before moving forward. So let's just put that in there like that, and then try to create a basic wallet and see what happens. It'll log whatever this function returns, and so we should get it true. So let's just see if that works. Let's go here and refresh. Create basic wallet. I probably have some errors because I think maybe I didn't change. Windwa is not defined. Yes, that's because it doesn't make any sense. Where did I put that? There it is. Windwow. Window. That's really what I meant. But there were some other other errors in here. That has to do with the favicon. Not worried about that. Window wallet. Oh yeah, there. I need to rename that. 116. Okay, I refresh. Oh, did I write? Oh, I did it again here. Oh, of course, because I copied and pasted. Okay, create basic wallet. Now submit. Okay, so we have our transaction ID in this list. That's why it's showing up here. So now we've also created this this event. So when this gets mined, we should trigger this log. Oh, and we did. It says false, which is interesting. But at least our event triggering is working. That's good to know. So I mean, you can just take this as a takeaway right away, is that this is how you use events. Of course, now we got to figure out why this is returning false. And I think it's because our list here is including this full string. I think that is the problem. So we'll need to change that, or make this an object, perhaps, or how to do that? Yeah, because I'm sure that when we click the create, yeah, we're pushing a string here, which is the transaction receipt plus this whole thing. Okay, so I need to restructure that a little bit. I guess for now, just in light of our short seminar, I'm just going to take this extra stuff out. It's not the best. I think a more elegant solution would probably be to make this transactions list a list of objects or dictionaries. And maybe I could just do that really quick. And then the other thing I'd have to change if I do that is here, when we are listing them, this v4, I would not say transaction, but I would just say transaction and then some part of the dictionary. I guess I'm going to do that because that shouldn't be too hard to do. So so I need to change two things. When they're added, I need to add them in a different way. Like this, I need to say I can make a dictionary here, string and put this. and transaction is the result. And then put this guy right here. And this is for the basic wallet. So I'm just going to save that, and I can copy and paste this later, but I want to test it first. So we're adding it in a different way. We're adding it a little dictionary instead of just a string, and which contains the string and contains the transaction ID. So, and then here I just want to say that now that leads to a little bit of a weird terminology there. I guess I want to fix that too. Let's see. So this list is called transactions. Just going to do this for now. Oh, and we actually don't want to do the transaction. We want to do the string, because that's what we want to output. And then in our, we want to see. Of course, now we can't just do the straight. Oh, now we can't just do includes, because it's not going to include. This is a list of complex objects now. All right, I'm just going to do a quick for loop. If so, we're going to get the ith one, and we're going to look at the transaction equals res found. Oops. And we're just going to start false break, and we don't need this line anymore. And then we can say if found, then what? Then I guess we want to we'll do something more complex later, but found. And actually, for now, I'm just going to say console.log found. Just see if it works. Let's see if all this works. Refresh. No errors. Create basic wallet. No errors yet either. That's good. Submit. Okay. That's good. It's still outputting correctly. So my change there is working. I'm just going to do a test and window.app.transactions. And indeed, we can see that if we look at this list, there's one object, and we have a string and a transaction. So that structure is working well because it's still rendering like it should. And when this transaction gets mined, hey, that's cool. So we got a true. So that all seemed to work. That's good, because I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants there. That looks good. Okay, so now that we know whether something is found, so my apologies if this is a little hard to follow. What we're doing here is when we get the event that a basic wallet has been created, which happens when this transaction is mined, we want to go through all of our transactions and look to see if this event's transaction ID matches up with one of the ones that we have. Because if it does, if found is true, if it is one of these that we're watching, then that means it is that one of the users create transactions, and then we can go ahead and automatically load the interface. So so now we just want to figure out what to do here. Now that we have found, we're going to do some stuff. And okay, let's go back to the API here, and we're going to use now args and event. We actually don't need the event name anymore because we are already in. We already know what the event name is because that's what we have right here. So it's only going to be called for this specific event. Okay, and so we want to use args, and we should only have one argument, arg0, and that should be our address. So equals let's see, zero. I think that should work. And I'm just going to console.log address just to see if we did get that right. Okay, so hopefully this will be the last time we have to test this, at least in this, stepwise manner. Let's click create, submit. So now when this gets mined, we should output the address, because it should be the first argument from this result. Let's go ahead and we can watch it from here too. And once we get the address here, the next thing we'll do is make the new contract the wallet instance and actually fill in, let's see, I guess we will change the wallet address input, and then that will automatically compute the new wallet contract instance, which is actually not ideal because it's going to give it our basic wallet ABI, which is just not what we want. So we'll have to change that eventually. Okay, so that was a success. Let's go to our interface. Ooh, we have an undefined. That's no good. Okay. What happened here? Did I get that name right? Args. The argument's coming from the event. Alright, I guess we gotta figure out what's going on here. Let's look at the result. Oops. Man, our time is running short quickly. Still on this bit right here. Okay, so here is our result object. Args, oh, we have to name the argument. It's not a list like I thought it would be. Okay, well that's pretty simple. So instead of args0, we go args wallet address. I guess that's cool because it's a little clearer in the code. Okay, I'm pretty sure that will work. So now let's just, in fact, we can just, instead of saying var address equal this, we just say window.app.contract address equals. So now it should automatically load the rest of our interface here when I click create. So let's give that a shot. That'll be cool if that works. So waiting, twiddling our thumbs, and then we'll, of course, we'll have to do a little bit more work because we don't want it to just load the regular, the basic wallet ABI every time. Maybe we'll add in a type variable to our view app, and then when it watches the contract instance, it can take that into account when it updates its stuff. Nothing has happened, and it got mined. I guess I need to go back and start logging stuff again. Definitely worked. Let's go here and just see if that was updated. Like so our code here. Oh, I think I'd misnamed the variable. wallet address input is what it's called. That's a really bad name. I'm going to change that actually. It really shouldn't be called input. I should really change all these output. I should really change all that because they're not really, it's a little misleading. So yeah, okay, this is just going to be, whoops. No, that's what I want to look for. I'm going to change it to wallet address. Find, wait, up here, find, replace that. Yep, replace that, and then replace that. And I probably have to change it in the index too. Yeah. Okay. That's all well and good. And now let's go back to where I was working. Yes. Wallet address. Okay, let's try that again. Create basic wallet. Go. Let's watch it mine this time. I'm actually going to go watch on this page with MetaMask open because I'd like to see it pop and change if it does. Well, it got mined, and again, nothing has happened. I did refresh. That is set correctly. Oh, I capitalized all my wallet addresses somehow. Should not have done that. Okay. Just gonna, and now I need to be careful about what I'm replacing because I bet it's gonna catch the wrong things if I'm not careful. Yeah, I don't want to change those. Do want to change that and that. Okay. Same with index. Replace. Don't replace. I mean, that shouldn't be capitalized anyway, but I'm not going to try to fix that right now. Okay. Okay, let's try again. Hey, there we go. That looks cool. So that, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not happy with how long it took to get there, but I'm happy that we finally have an interface. So when you click create, it eventually pops up with an interface here. And if we wanted to focus on, the usability of this, we would also want to add in some sort of loading animation. Maybe right by this transaction that's broadcasted, maybe add some sort of loading sign that would then change, but that's cool. Okay, so now the last thing we need to do on that is that right now it so this wallet contract instance is a computed variable. So if anything in this expression here changes, this will change, and that's why when we change the wallet address just now through our event watcher, this was changed. However, it's always using this basic wallet ABI, and we don't want that to always be the same thing. So what I'm going to do, well, let me think here. I think what I'm going to do is add in a wallet type variable here. Wallet type. And I don't know whether I want to do that in like integers, or I guess I can do a string. I'll do a string. And then we need to set that here in our event watcher. This, and of course, this won't change the behavior for this one because this is the basic wallet. Okay, so we changed the wallet address. Window.app.wallet type equals basic. These strings are a little weird because maybe I'll just make some enums. Does JavaScript do anything weird with enums? What is the preferred syntax? For days, enum object.freeze. I kind of don't want to worry about that. I'm just going to do some constants. Sorry if this is making anyone cringe, but two. I always forget the name of our other, billable, that's what it is. And time lock. Okay, now our wallet type really should be a number. And down here, okay, that looks fine. And then our computed, we want this to change the ABI based on the type. If type basic, do that. Oops. Okay, and then for the different other types, sorry, I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time here just doing like really basic programming tasks, so apologies for that. Here, what did we name the other ABIs? Just, okay, pretty simple. Like wallet ABI. I'm also going to just go ahead and change the name of this because it really should, that's what it should be. Basic. Okay, save and save. That all looks fine. The only thing to do now is to sort of copy this logic and put it into our other event watchers here. So let's do that. And modify it. Probably a better way, there's a way you can watch a contract for any event, and that's why later you can get the name of it. So that would really be a better way to do this. I'm just not doing it that way, I suppose, because I'm scrambling for time. Let's see here. That'd be a good homework assignment if anyone wants any coursework there. Okay, what am I doing here? The same thing we're already watching for the different contracts. So the only thing we need to do now is just change this. Billable and wallet type time lock. Yeah, okay, that should work, assuming I didn't make any mistakes there. Let's give it a shot here. So we've already created the basic wallet. I'm going to do it anyway again. And now I'm going to duplicate this tab, and we will just run this app in 3 different, whoops, dang it, I didn't want to pin the tab. No. And we'll just run 3 different versions. This one will be the billable wallet. Submit. Oh, that's interesting. It's an empty. Okay, well, that is, oh, it's because I changed the way that we yeah, so here, I changed the behavior here. I didn't do that for these two, so I'm just going to go ahead and close that, and let's just fix that really quick. This should also be a new basic wallet. I'm going to change that while we're here. Oh, and that'll be an index as well. Okay. Okay, so this bit I'm going to copy, and then I'll have to change the string inside there as well. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So this is really what we want. And then I guess I can just do this like this. And then we're pushing this object right here. Okay, save and refresh. Well, we did see that the basic wallet seemed to load effectively, so I'm just going to test these two. Get this one going. Now we should see a transaction pop up here. That looks good. And duplicate and do the same thing with time lock. Oh goodness. Now I need to, if I give it a too low of a number, it's going to, that popped up because I left and it canceled out my pop-up. I need to get a Unix timestamp that is greater than the current timestamp. Here's our second one. Let's try it again. Create and do this. We're going to just change that to a 9 or 8 or whatever. Okay, and click submit. Well, that one seemed to load. That's good. Of course, we don't have any extra functionality, and I did want to get to that today. We're not going to be able to, unfortunately. But if I guess one thing I can do is I can do window.app. What did I call it? Wallet type. Let's just make sure that that is loading correctly. 1, okay, yeah, that is our billable type. So that seems to be working. I guess just to test that this has loaded the correct ABI and it's all working, one thing I can do just manually on this console is I can say I can use this contract instance to actually call something in the billable. So let's see. Well, let's go to our time lock one, which loaded correctly as well, so that's good. And let's just see if we can get that timestamp. Oh, we got an error here. Oh, that was from when I declined the signature the first time. We're still good. So window.app.contract wallet contract. Whoops. Yeah, wallet contract instance. Dot. And now what I want to do is get the unlock time. And a quick way to do this in the console is you do this, and then you actually have to specify the callback. So I'm just going to say function, whoops, error result is just going to be console.log the result. So like that. And there's our result now. That's going to be a big number, so it doesn't. But there it is. There's our number. So that indicates that we did load the interface correctly. So we still have to do some work now to actually reflect that interface here. I do have 6 minutes left, so I guess what I could do is just dig out the code that we had last time for our billable wallet and just see if I can activate all that. And then I can show that when we create the basic wallet, it'll just show us this. When we create the billable wallet, it'll give us this extra interface. So let me just do that really quick here. Here's our original. I'm also going to clean up some tabs. Yeah, we don't need that or that. Okay, let's get to our code, and now this, it seems weird that I would put this back right in our main app, because if the app is not loading anything about the biller, it seems weird that it would have all these variables having to do with it. Biller address input. That's all part of, it's almost like I should have a new app that goes with the biller panel. That's probably what I should do. I'm tempted to just stop here and say that we'll do that next time, but then of course I'm worried that I'd like to use Friday for something else, and I'd hate to just give up on this interface when we're so close. So I guess for now I'm just gonna put this back in, and there could be a more elegant way to do this now that we have this, because what I'm thinking, that this part of the interface is conditional and it'll change based on what's going on. So it seems weird to put it all in this app right up here. Ideally I would have a whole another app like window.biller app, but I don't want to do that right now. I'm just going to try to restore our functionality from earlier. Okay, user can bill. This is on a watch. So let's just uncomment this to look at it, because it's kind of hard to tell what's going on without the syntax. Billers. So this is a watch. Oh, this is all in the watch of wallet contract instance. So here I'm just going to put this under an if statement, and that will. So if this dot wallet type equals wallet type billable. Okay, and tab all that over and do that. And I guess that that if statement is what we will how we'll wrap a lot of this. Biller address input, and this is another watch variable, so it's going to watch the biller address input. That's fine. We can do that. Whether we can watch the input whether or not it's the right type. But then I guess just to be safe, what I'm going to do here is if this wallet type does not equal type billable, return. Oh, 10. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I think that is a record. I don't think we've gotten to 10 before. I've seen 9 a couple times. Okay, what else here? This deposit holder deposit. Oh, that's left over from our way earlier interface. We don't need any of that. Although we might use this get balance later. I guess I'll keep that in. But I'll erase everything else. And here is our user can bill, and so here's more billing stuff. Let's take a look at it. Oops. It's fine to still have this function defined, and it's fine also to have this function defined. Some of our variable names might be out of date though. Yeah, so this is just going to be wallet instance. And now we'll need to do some similar changes in index, or our HTML rather. Yes, so billing here. So I'm going to put this billing bit back in, but I'm going to make it the show. So it's to make this a conditionally shown bit, and it's going to say, let's see, wallet type equals I think that should work, although I'm a little worried it won't be able to access this variable because it's outside of the app. But let's just save and see if we can run it without any errors. Now we're right up on the end time, so if this doesn't work pretty quick, I will end the recording and pick it up next time. But let's refresh. We already have an error. Wallet type billable is not defined on the instance. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to just make a quick change and move all this stuff into our app, into the data. Like that, okay. Now we'll probably get some other reference errors because now that I've put it in the app, yeah, I'm referencing it elsewhere. So let me find, that's in the app, that's fine. Oh, we need to go say this. Okay. Okay, let's save and try that. Okay, no errors, that's good. And okay, so now, if we create a billable wallet, we should see it show up, and if we create a different wallet, we should not see it show up. So I'm going to try both of those cases. Create the basic wallet here. Oh, I'm out of Ether, out of testnet Ether. Let me change into one of my other accounts here. I can go get some, but this will be a little faster. And I'm mindful of the time because we're already over the hour. Okay, create basic wallet and submit, and create billable wallet and submit. Now, if my changes there are all okay, we should see this one load with our biller interface that we had from last time, although we'll see if it works. If this doesn't work, I'll probably just cut off the last few minutes of this video. If it does work, hey, that looks great. Actually, that looks really good. I'm just going to see, let's do just a few tests here. Well, first of all, it's showing up and everything looks good. Also, something I didn't notice until now, it automatically fills in our input here. That's kind of cool because we can just grab that address whenever we want. I guess I do want to call one function on this interface just to make sure that it works like it should. So let's say that we want to get a different address. And I'm just going to go to Etherscan and just grab a random address because I don't really care to test out the whole thing. Let's just go to this block and let's just grab the, I don't know, this one. Here's an address. Sure, we'll take that one. Okay. So we have an address. I'm going to go here. Loading. Okay, it loaded correctly. I'm going to see if I can change the biller rate. And if this, just see if this works. No, something went wrong here. Okay, well, I'm going to take a look at the error that I'm inevitably, can I read property, set bill rate of undefined, index on 250. So I guess a wallet instance is undefined. That's weird. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, well, I'm going to end the video here. What we have accomplished here is that probably the most exciting thing from a UX point of view is that when we click create, it automatically loads eventually once it's mined. And then also we are starting to see that our interface can conditionally load different functionality based on the type of contract that it's pointing at. And probably most interestingly is that this part, well, I guess we're using the specific ABIs now, but our deposit and withdraw functionality is sort of identical across all of them, and it uses the same functions. All right, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm not sure what we're going to do on Friday's seminar. I'm leaning towards using the forwarder contract, although now I'd like to also maybe get to the rest of this stuff too. I can cross off some more of this. We did this, although there's still some debugging to do. This is sort of done. I guess the rest of this is just pretty minor stuff. So we did get through most of it. So in any case, I think that I'm leaning towards the forwarder contract work on next Friday. That way, everything we've worked on, we'll sort of see some sort of culmination. But yeah, and of course tomorrow's a day off, so enjoy that, guys. I know I will. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.